Are you finding it difficult to get what you want in life? If so, stay tuned. This video is for you. I'm going to be sharing my 7-step process to getting what you want, God willing. So let's begin. Now, the 7-step process is define, belief, intention, thoughts, words, actions, consistency equals results. And I'm going to be discussing them in 3 points. So in the first point, we're going to be discussing define, belief, and intention. So let's start with define. So defining what you want is the first point in getting what you want. And often people go through their lives. I know I did in the past. I never defined what I wanted, and I just thought that, I thought that everybody knew what I wanted. I thought I knew what I wanted, and I would just get wishy-washy results. And it wasn't until I actually started to define what I wanted that I actually put myself on that vibration, and I was actually able to take the appropriate action to actually, God willing, for that to be created. And so it's like, for instance, if you go into a cafe and you go over to the cashier and you say, and the cashier said, well, what would you like? And you say, well, I don't know. I feel like something sweet, maybe a carrot cake, maybe a biscuit, maybe a cookie, maybe a chocolate cake. I know I want something sweet. Well, you'll end up not being served. The cashier will just say, would you mind just standing to the side, make your decision, and then come back? But if you actually go and the cashier said, what would you like? And you say, I feel like something sweet. I would like a piece of carrot cake, please. Well, you'll get the piece of carrot cake. And it's the same with everything in life. You really need to define what you want. And in order, it's the first step to get what you want, is to define what you want. It's really, really important. So how do you define what you want? First of all, you write down. I'm a big believer in the pen and paper. It's something magical about writing things down. Write down, God willing, that I want this, God willing. Okay, and then go even deeper and categorize it. Put it in the area of life where it falls in. So does it fall in health and fitness? Does it fall in relationships? Does it fall in personal developments? Does it fall in spirituality? What area of your life does it fall in? Because you're really trying to get clear here you're really defining in a clear way what you want. You're really trying to get clear here. So write down what area it falls in, and then ask yourself, do I really want this? Okay, I've written this down, and I've written down what area it falls in. Do I really want it? Do I really want it? And if the answer is yes, then move on to the next question. And the next question is, well, why do I want it? Like, why? Well, why do I want this? And you might find it difficult to answer, why do I want this? But another question to help you answer that question would be, if I did this, if God willing, I had this in my life and I did this, would it bring joy to my soul? Would it bring happiness to my soul? Would it better my life, God willing? And then if the answer is yes, if the answer is yes, then what you've defined, you've defined what you wanted, you've defined the category, and you've defined that, the reason, if I do this, God willing, it's going to bring joy to my soul. It's going to bring joy to my soul, and it's going to better my life. And there could be other answers, that I want to do this because of this, but you've defined it. So that's the first point. Once you've defined what you wanted, when you do all that, it's almost as if you're like, right, yeah, I do want that, and these are the reasons why, and this is what I'm going to get out of it. Because you always see what return there's going to be, and the return here is obviously it's going to bring joy to your life, it's going to bring joy to your soul, God willing. You've already defined all that. It's going to better your life, it's going to better the area that you actually wrote down that it falls in. So after you've defined, then you go on to your belief. Now you really need to see whether you have limiting beliefs about what you want, or expanding beliefs. So limiting beliefs are, you know what, I really want this, but I don't think it's possible. Or I really want this, but it's going to be really, really, really difficult to get, and I don't think I would be able to do it. If you've got limiting beliefs like that, you're going to make it very difficult for yourself. Very, very difficult for yourself. And so the solution would be to change those limiting beliefs. Like, why not? If not you, why not? If not you, who? And you know, it's your life, and your life is precious, and you want to do this, God willing. So why not? Like, why not? Like, if you want to do it, God willing, and you've written down that it's going to bring joy to your life and joy to your soul, and it's going to better your life, why not? So just change those limiting beliefs to, you know what, God willing, I can do this, and I will do this, and I want to do this, and I believe in myself. I really believe in myself. I vouch for me. So really, you need to define what your beliefs are, and if they're limiting in any way, turn them around. No, really turn them around. Okay, so that's the second point. The third point is then, now that you've defined what you wanted, now that you've changed your limiting beliefs into expanding beliefs, God willing, now you need to set your intention. And your intention is simply, I intend to do this, God willing. I intend to take appropriate action, yes, to create this, God willing, in my life. I intend to do it. And it's when you intend, it's almost as if you're when you define what you want, and then your beliefs, and then you write down you change your limiting beliefs to expanding beliefs. It's almost as if that's a contract, okay? And when you set an intention, you've signed that contract. It's like, right, I've signed the contract, I'm going to go through with it, God willing. So those first 3 steps are really, really important, okay? To begin to, set the roots. They're the roots for getting what you want, okay? So point number 2, we're going to go on to now your thoughts, your words, and your actions. So your thoughts are really important. Your thoughts are everything. But now that you've actually you've defined what you wanted, okay, and you've removed your limiting beliefs, and you've intended, your thoughts should, God willing, start aligning with what you've defined, with your beliefs, and with your intention. Now, this is where most people go wrong, and this is where I used to go wrong, is that often, like I said, I didn't really define what I wanted. But even if, like, I had in the back of my mind, if I had back of mind what I wanted, when I came to close examination, what I was focusing on in my life was on what I didn't want. And what you focus on increases, okay? So you really need to now that you're here at this stage, okay, you really need to start to, examine what are you focusing on in your life. And if you're not getting what you want, you're probably focusing on what you don't want. It's that simple, okay? So what do? Well, like I said, you define what you're focusing on, okay? And then how do you define what you're focusing on? That's you're probably thinking, well, that's quite difficult to do. How do I define what I'm focusing on? Well, what are you thinking about? What are the words that you're using, and what are the actions that you're taking? And you'll probably find, if you're not getting what you want, your thoughts, your words, and your actions are aligned with what you don't want. Okay, so it's simple. You just need to turn it around now. Okay, you've already defined what you've wanted, you've already changed your limiting beliefs, and you've already intended. So now is the time to write down, God willing, well, what thoughts do I need to think that are aligned with what I want? And write them down. And what words do I need to use, God willing, that integrate into my vocabulary, okay, that are aligned with what I want? We'll write them down and start using them as well. And what actions, God willing, do I need to take, God willing, that are aligned with what I've defined, okay? And you start doing them little by little. You take baby steps every day you take a little action. And it's that simple. Your thoughts, your words, and your actions need to be aligned, okay, with what you want, not with what you don't want. It's that simple. And you've already defined what you want. So you just now need to bring everything together. So now you've got the roots, and now look, see, your tree is growing. Your tree is growing, okay? Your tree is growing. And now in order for the fruits, for you to reap the fruits, what do you need? You need to be consistent, and you need to focus on the process. Now, so you've defined, you've got your beliefs, you've got your intentions, you've got your thoughts, you've got your actions, you've got your words, you've got all of that. But if you don't focus on the process, if you're not consistent with your words, consistent with your actions, consistent with your thoughts, okay, and focus on them, focus on the process, yes, that are aligned with what you want. If you're not consistent in that, then the fruits, you're not going to reap the fruits. They'll stop halfway. The fruits won't come out. So you need to be consistent in focusing on the process, and focusing on the thoughts that are aligned with what you've defined, the actions aligned with what you've defined, and the words aligned with what you've defined. And this is where most people go wrong. They do all of that. They built the tree, they've done the roots, they've done all of that. But then they focus on the end results. And because they don't see the fruit, it's almost as if at this stage they give up, and they're not consistent in the process. And the process is the thoughts, the words, the actions. So this point is detrimental. It's really, really, really important that you are consistent in focusing on the process, taking appropriate action every day, What do I need to do today that's aligned with what I've defined, God willing. And it's just baby steps. It's baby steps every day. Sometimes we get scared that, we're not seeing the fruits, we're not seeing the end results, and we really don't know what to do. And I'm saying to focus on your words, your thoughts, and the actions. And your actions are, what is at hand today? Like, what can I do today, yes, that will get me aligned with what I want, with what I've defined? What can I do? And every day you'll find that it will just snowball, it will just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But it starts off with baby steps. So for instance, when I started the Love Yourself movement, it started off with a blog. And then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But if I even thought of, for instance, what I'm doing now, I couldn't have done that at the beginning. I had to go through what was at hand was my blog. That's what was at hand there, and that just grew, and then it just branched out. So the third step is really focusing on the process, which is your words, your thoughts, your actions, God willing, and don't let not seeing the results. Don't let that intimidate you or bother you in any way, God willing. Your results will show when they're ready. They're being made, God willing. Focus and be consistent every day. Show up every day. This is what you want. This is your life. Your life is very precious. And in order for you, God willing, to get what you want, you need to show up. You need to show up, and you need to be consistent. So I hope you enjoyed my 7-step process. If you have any questions, kindly put them in below. And if you like the video, could you kindly click on the like button and subscribe to my channel, and have a brilliant, beautiful, absolutely amazing day.